What's on the world's most mysterious island? Hello friends, welcome to Mysterious Secrets with Berkay. In this video, I will tell you what is happening on the most mysterious island in the world. It is a place where those who enter cannot escape alive, and those who live on it have no knowledge of the outside world. North Sentinel Island. This island is North Sentinel Island, one of the Andaman Islands in the Bay of Bengal, and is located in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands administrative unit of the Indian state. For thousands of years, we don't know what's going on inside the island, just as the islanders have known nothing about the rest of the world. It is extremely dangerous to approach the island, as we are attacked by naked natives when we want to know. That's why it was declared a forbidden zone by the Indian government. Almost no one went to the island, except for a few people. What happened to those who left later in our video? I'll tell you what happened to them. But before that, what is the story of this island? North Sentinel Island, a mysterious and dangerous island of 60 square kilometers within the borders of the Indian state. It's nearly impossible to see what's happening on the island with drones from above in the dense tree population that surrounds the island. At the beginning of the events that make the island so mysterious, the locals living in it have no communication with the world outside the island for thousands of years, and the lack of technology in any way is one of them. There is much to wonder about the North Sentinel people, who are completely isolated from the world. With today's technology, we can have almost all kinds of information about every part of the world, but what a mysterious island, of course, attracts the attention of the whole world. Except for a few people on the island, including scientists, no one could enter here. Sentinels live naked. About how to make a fire. It is unknown if he has any ideas. What happened to those who tried to contact the island soon after? You will be amazed when you watch about the chilling events. The island population is unknown. They are known to be the first people to leave Africa 60,000 years ago, with an estimated 300 inhabitants. The Indian government has banned anyone approaching the island more than 9 kilometers around. The reason for this was both the safety of the locals living on the island and the safety of those approaching the island. The most well-known custom of the Sentinels. One of their liaisons is not at all friendly to people outside the island. They're not being. Whoever approaches the island, they immediately start attacking with arrows. The arrows they shot are as big as you can see in the picture. As you know, these people have almost no communication with the outside world, and as you know, people's bodies are affected by the social environment and produce antibodies and immunity against viruses in the environment. However, these constructions, which completely close themselves to the outside environment, do not seem likely to live in environments where other people live in today's society. The slightest human contact from the outside could lead to the extinction of the Sentinels. In fact, since India does not want these natives to become extinct, it has introduced a law to approach the island more than 9 kilometers. Even a simple flu will not be enough for their immune systems, which they can do painfully. They experienced The year is 1880. Everything 123 years ago, an Englishman. It began with the first contact of Adolphe Portman, a naval officer, with the island. Portman sailing around India towards them on the beach. He saw a group of naked men of medium height shooting arrows. Upon this, Portman, who started to do research on the island, wanted to work on this island, but his intention was not good at all. He took multiple photos of the Sentinels, sexually explicit photos. Portman also embarked on an expedition to North Sentinel Island to contact the previously uncontacted tribe living on the island. Despite the Sentinelese crew abducting 2 adults and 4 children during their expedition and taking them to Port Blair, the capital of the South Andaman Island, the adults died of illness shortly after reaching Port Blair, and Portman gave the children numerous gifts a few weeks later, ordered them to be sent back. The disease carried by the returning children who caught them in Port Blair has been cited by some as the reason for the Sentinels' hostility towards foreigners, because perhaps these children were infected and may have caused a drastic reduction in the island's population, currently estimated to be home to 200 to 300 people. A large cargo ship with a crew of 50 in 1981. It ran aground off the coast of Sentinel Island. In the morning on the shore, encountering the Sentinel Indians with arrows in their hands, the crew, by helicopters that came as a result of calls for help. They were rescued at the last moment unharmed. But the cargo ship was badly damaged, and it was left to the inhabitants of Sentinel Island. It is not known exactly what the natives did with the shipwreck, but it is estimated that this ship took them from the Stone Age to the Iron Age. May have latched. Using the shipwreck, he used the tips of his arrows. It is thought that they started to make iron, and it is among the estimations that they also developed various cooking utensils. The locals, who were submerged in the tsunami that occurred after the great earthquake of 9.1 to 9.3 in the Indian Ocean in 2004, did not suffer much damage and somehow managed to survive. That's exactly how the plane flew over the island to see if the locals were safe. Let's take a look at the story of an adventurous young man who devoted himself to this island and what happened to him. 26-year-old American John Allen Chau was a religious and adventurous young man. He was obsessed with the inhabitants of North Sentinel Island, and he wanted to spread Christianity around the world and introduce this religion to people who were unaware. No matter what they did, they lived in isolation on this island for thousands of years. To the natives, he had to talk about Jesus and pass on his beliefs to them. But he was also aware that this task was not an easy one. He decided to make a plan that would last for many years. When he thought that the time had come, he focused himself completely on this work. He first quit his full-time job to train yourself by attending national outdoor leadership courses started. He received training as an emergency medical technician and kept fit by doing sports. Tried to stay just what could happen to you on North Sentinel Island. In America, in order to be prepared for the working as an emergency nurse, alone in a small cabin, he lived his life. Later a training called All Nations joined the camp. In this training camp, specially prepared, there was a village and the fake natives living in it. During training, the natives carried out false attacks with their spears. By October 2018, John had given himself 13 separate vaccines. The closest to North Sentinel Island from America after he flew to Port Blair in the safe and settled there, where he prepared an initial communication kit, including picture cards for communication, gifts for the Sentinel people, medical equipment, and other necessities. When that day came, the date was November 15, 2018, and he was going to go to the island. But because it is forbidden to go to the island for more than 9 kilometers, the two fishermen made a deal for 25,000 Indian rupees. These fishermen would drop him somewhere near the island. At night, Together with the fisherman to whom he had delivered the money, they secretly set out for North Sentinel Island. As they approached the shore, the fisherman proceeded further. On his first attempt, Chau canoed ashore with a waterproof Bible. As he got closer, he tried to communicate with the islanders and give gifts, but withdrew when faced with hostile reactions. On his second try, he noted that the islanders responded to him with a mixture of amusement, surprise, and hostility. He stated that they communicated with lots of high-pitched voices and gestures to sing worship songs to them. "My name is John. I love you. Jesus loves you too," of the natives. A boy among them fired an arrow at John. Taking out the arrow, John had fallen into the sea at this time, and the natives they were trying to confiscate the pile. As fast as 1.5 kilometers forced to swim aboard, John has no intention of giving up too. "I'm afraid," he wrote in his diary that night. According to Chau's last letter, while trying to deliver fish and gifts, a boy fired a metal-headed arrow that pierced the Bible he was holding in front of his chest, and then retreated again. From inside the boat, John showed the Bible in his hand and shouted, "If he loses his life, drink, because it will be for the sake of the Creator." There was also a peace. The following prayer he added to his diary is remarkable. "If I am killed by the natives, please forgive them, my Lord." John, who had spent the night on the ship, came to a new place the next morning, started his experiment, and never again from John, who entered the island on his last try. News could not be received. The returning fisherman was arrested and imprisoned. The fisherman's testimony had information that he had witnessed John being dragged by a rope tied to his feet. This news had a national repercussion. The authorities, who had been trying to reach John's body for a while, did not want to interfere further with the attacks of the Sentinel people and decided to close the case.